Peter Emerson is a former senior White House official, and he's joining me now from Montauk, New York. We appreciate you taking time out today to speak with us here in Canada, Peter. I want to get your take on a former Canadian Prime Minister kind of secretly meeting with White House officials.
Well, I think it's quite extraordinary because I was reading the press reports, and I want to be careful not to intrude into the internal affairs, particularly the political, of Canada. But I read where Mr. Harper had not so long ago on Fox News said that Canada was the wrong target for a trade war. So why is he going into the middle of the war room, the warmongers on trade, at the Trump White House, number one? Number two, he's meeting with two people who are probably, even within their own party, considered fringe. That is, Bolton, the national security advisor, has never found a war that he doesn't love and would love to have another one. And Kudlow, the economic advisor, is probably one of the most disgraced and I'd say probably worst economists we have in America, because even during our depression in 07, 08, he was still claiming that everything was fine. So I fear that Harper's going not only into the warmongers' room, but also incompetent people.
So what would the end game for him be here?
We obviously feels that somehow he can raise his stature in Canada. That's really for all you to decide. I found it amazing as well that the White House thought that it was Prime Minister Trudeau who was looking for a meeting. They didn't even get that side of their game right. So it sounds like it's once again chaos in the middle of chaos, and that's the problem that we have, not just with our White House here, but around the world, what it's doing to our allies, and there's no greater and more important ally than Canada.
And of course, this is all coming one day after the tariffs were put into place against some U.S. products. What's your reaction now that those have actually kicked in?
I'm all in favor of it. I think it's fantastic. What I particularly appreciate about Canada, China's about to do the same thing. I'm sure it'll be repeated over and over again around the world, is this trade insanity that Trump has dreamed up and thinks somehow he can win. That it's targeted, it's highly targeted. It's not just random that Prime Minister Trudeau and his government, it's targeting areas of the country where Mitch McConnell, the Senate Majority Leader, the whiskey from Kentucky, or it's the frozen pizza from the Speaker of the House, Paul Ryan's district. It's all very smartly targeted, not just on trade, but also on the political realities here in the United States.
And what do you think the impact of it will be? Of course, we're looking ahead to November midterm elections.
I'm not so sure that we'll see any definitive impact on the 2018 elections here. It's probably too fast, too soon, so to speak. But certainly already the reports say in the maple syrup industry down here, where they're going to either have to add additional costs to their maple syrup simply because of the tariffs, or they're going to have to lay off employees. I don't think that will be nationwide. I think, frankly, the Supreme Court nominee, when it's announced next week, will probably take up most of the air and oxygen here in the United States between now and 2018.
And in terms of this trade battle, where do you see it going from here?
Well, it could spiral out of control, and unfortunately, nobody really wins. I think most of all, and from my perspective, being an American, what makes it the most sad and really unacceptable is that the people who voted for Donald Trump are the ones who are going to pay the ultimate economic price, whether it's in losing their jobs or paying higher prices at Walmart and Costco, simply because the price of goods coming into those areas, into those distribution centers, have gone up. So the real sadness to me is that the people who put all their faith, their hope, and their votes with Donald Trump will pay the biggest price.
Peter Emerson, a former senior White House official, we appreciate you coming on our program here in Canada. Thanks for your time.
Happy to do so.